Hi, I'm Natalie and I'm a third year human scientist at Keble.
My name is Siobhan and I'm a first year human scientist.
I had one interview at two separate colleges, and then I had a third interview run by the department, which not everyone has, but I had.
For human scientists, you were guaranteed an interview at more than one college. So I had 2 interviews at the college I originally applied to and then 1 interview at Keble College. As well as these, you may be invited to a panel interview where you'll be interviewed by around 4 interviewers. Human sciences does not typically have any pre-work before your interviews.
I got interviewed by 2 or 3 people in each interview, and then the interview was split into sections, so they'd each ask about their own area for about 10 minutes. So I prepared by making sure that I knew a little bit about each discipline or area of human sciences. So, for example, I'd never studied anthropology. I didn't know much about what anthropology was, so I read a book about that. I also looked at the news and any recent developments in science to make sure that I was up to date. And I looked over the course and the course description just so that I could work out why exactly I wanted to study human sciences and what made it different from other courses.
I didn't stress too much over prep work because human sciences is so broad that you could be asked on any of the topics. But I made sure to read up on work that I was not so confident on, such as human evolution and genetics.
My first interview didn't go as well as I hoped, and I felt like they were looking for maybe some specific knowledge that I didn't have. But my second and third interviews went pretty well, the conversation flowed, and it was all a lot more relaxed.
Each of my interviews were around 20 minutes, but they all felt like they went quite quickly. Each of my interviews were around a specific area of human sciences, such as anthropology or evolution. In each of my interviews, I had either a graph or a map or a diagram to analyse, as well as other questions around the subject. Although speaking out loud can feel quite uncomfortable, it's better to talk through all of the different options and explain why they might be incorrect rather than saying nothing at all. I feel like I made quite a few silly mistakes in my interview, but it didn't have much of a bearing on the final result, so it was all okay in the end.
So I expected quite a lot more conversation around my personal statement and my motivations for wanting to do this course, but actually I found that the conversation was a lot more academic and maybe focused on the interviewer's areas of expertise. But we were able to have quite a positive conversation about those things, and it sounded like they were really interested in what I had to say, so the conversation flowed quite well. There was also a lot of graphs and images which I wasn't expecting that I got shown and asked to interpret, but I actually really enjoyed that section of the interviews.
I expected the interview questions to be really short and difficult, but they gave a lot of context to the questions, and they were quite long and they helped you through it quite a bit and prompted you if you didn't know what to say.